The first competitive series played on Season 9 of Age of Empires 4. We got early access. One and all, welcome back to the Age of Empires 4 show. That is right, we have got a play all 7 between B and Anatan, and we kick off here on Dry Arabia. This is the brand spanking new Season 9 public preview. For a week, we have access to this, and I thought it was only right that we saw what some of the players were already concocting just 2 days in. So Anatan is going to cozily open on Order of the Dragon, a civ that he knows inside and out. Actually, he's one of the most effective players with this civ right now. Not much in the way of changes directly to this civ. The opponent, however, in B, has got some cool changes here. Jeanne got some cool tweaks. We will not see the dock effect come in this game, but what we will potentially see is how much easier it is to spam your elite tier units when you reach age 3 with Jeanne. So remember, guys, when you get Jeanne level 3, you can start pumping out these champions or these riders, but the problem usually was scaling them. Now you can, and I think what we might start seeing out of Jeanne players is look to farm that level 3 XP, just like they had before, but instead of eventually rushing castle, you then stick feudal and apply more pressure because you'll have access to your elite tier units and age earlier than most people would assume. Look at the spawns though. One big thing to kind of keep an eye out for here is gold positioning and the exploitable weakness of it. Arkan Chapel did get nerfed, by the way, for, I believe, both H3 and Dragons. So the tower range went from 6.5 to, I believe it was 5.5, which makes it much harder to get these more desirable spread spawns. To be honest, in this game, it shouldn't hurt Anatan too much anyway. The Arkan's likely going to go down here on the tree line. In fact, if he positions it correctly, he can buff his tree line, use it as the drop-off location, and still get a trimming buff onto the west side tree. Meanwhile, on B side, pretty nice to have these retracted golds. A little bit exposed on the back, but it is to the back of his base. So if there's some sort of opening of horsemen out of Anatan, he won't be able to fully exploit that. But I don't think that's where we're going. Now, hold on a second. That's kind of cool. Minework Palace is coming in. So this is really cool because usually you're just going to go Ark and Hunker for Castle, but this seems like Anatan is intending to play the Feudal Age. Curious to see what his approach is going to be. Usually the biggest value play for Minework is to go into the Men-at-Arms spam, but building Men-at-Arms straight away against Jeanne feels like a mistake. Jeanne herself can hold you back at a reasonable pacing. The Knights will just cycle charge you, so you have to open spears here. I wonder whether B is going to go melee form or range form, though. Because if he knows this is a longer feudal, that means melee form gets more value because you can potentially get level 3 quicker in the second age. And that's where it feels more impactful. Range zone always feels better when the game's going to drag later into age 3 and age 4, because then you become a sniper bot. In fact, I just realized we can pop predictions up. Let's do that right now. Give you guys 2 minutes to get them in. Make it quick. Is this spears into gilded archers? Because it's going to be knights into archers, right? It has to be here. I think B actually just needs to pivot straight away into archers the moment he confirms a Rax drop. So like you have the School of Cavalry, you build 1 knight, but then you just immediately go double archery range as soon as you can afford it. They said the Jones champions and feudal is an unintended and known issue. Really? I don't know if that is true, because that has been that way for a long time. And I mean, I'm just going to say Winston needs to start watching my YouTube videos, because we even done a cool video in a Beastie series where he basically had Imperial Age stats on Castle Age units, because the way that the champions work is that they scale with Jeanne's level. She's the age benefactor. So what that means, guys, is if you, for example, have your Castle Age Men-at-Arms champions as Jeanne, but you get level 4, their stats will immediately be upgraded. Again, Minework in Palace play is going to be backed up by the spears straight away here. And this is the big reason why usually you'll see people play into Minework is Golden Cuirass to make the Men-at-Arms more effective. But that's why I was a little bit perplexed by this choice. You just don't really go Men-at-Arms in this matchup, not unless you're trying to trek a Castle Age play. I am wondering if that's the goal here from Anatan. Build a few spears to defend, prep for Castle Age, and then as you're going for Castle, you transition into Men-at-Arms, because even though you are going to give a reasonable fight across the B, as these Royal Knights will be able to charge in on you, the stats should be padded enough with the Castle upgrades that you can still beat a Royal Knight with the Men-at-Arms one-on-one. At least when they have the age advantage. pretty heavy on the gold gathering. He is just going to be spamming knights here. Now, the reason it's good to get a few knights out to begin with is it's going to keep your opponent pinned in his base, but you are looking for that archer transition. If you're going to do it, you need to be fast as well. Anatan, with the way he's setting up on the gold, I wonder if we are just going to see him trying to trek forward. I mean, 3 villages doesn't seem like a lot, but you have to remember those are gilded villages. This is more like having 4 villages on the gold line, which at this stage in the game can suggest that you're looking to attack. But love to see instead Anatan is investing in all the eco. So he's got level 1s coming in. Of course, he can get very cheap techs from the blacksmiths once he has units. You even have the stables now being dropped. Stables that I believe B should be aware of here. I'd be kind of shocked if he doesn't realize it. Anatan knows what he's up against here. Like, this scouting's very important. It tells you just how heavy your opponent's going on gold. We have got Jeanne playing into the melee form here. So, this is one of those weird ones, because usually when you see spears, melee Jeanne is just kind of a given. You'd think it'd be range Jeanne, but melee Jeanne feels good because you'll get that mass cleave. The problem is, where mass cleave can feel a little bit wonky is against particularly the dragons. Because the health pools are so big on all their units, the cleaves don't really feel that substantial. Your kill threat doesn't feel that good, right? You actually benefit from just having a lot more archers than having Jeanne like this. But as we said, I think this is about playing a longer feudal. And with Mindwork being there, that's what he's anticipating. So he's looking to exploit that factor and try to get level 3 in the second age. Pro Scouts, in the meantime, is going to be coming in. We've seen a lot of players moving towards this. It just makes so much sense for French and Jeanne when you consider just how cheap it gets. And on top of that, you already start with the stables in the second age, right? Like, that's what the School of Cavalry is. A School of Cavalry which will also allow you to produce those scouts quicker than other civs. Wait, do we have a mirrored play here? We might. Okay, no. He's just going survival techniques. That makes a lot more sense. Like, it would have been pretty ballsy to try and play like that. This is kind of awkward, though, right? Like, you're leaning out to one side. Your opponent's likely to kind of contest here, both with knights and the scouts, to now yoink away. B in the meantime. He's going to start circling around the back. Looks like Anatan did get the early warning about the charge coming in, although a little bit delayed in the reaction there. This is the nice thing about this matchup as well, by the way, and another part of why Order of the Dragon's really comfortable here, is knights can't easily snipe villages, folks. And that's also another reason why Jeanne ranged feels kind of sucky. So knights can't snipe villages because usually what happens is you charge in, and you do enough damage to the lance and then the buff sword attack to 2-hit a villager for 50 damage. But these guys have 65. It's impossible. You'll never get a kill with an immediate charge in. To make matters worse, it feels horrible playing Jeanne ranged as well, because usually Jeanne ranged needs to shoot a villager twice, and then you smite them with the Divine Arrow. But when you play against Order of the Dragon, you'd have to hit that villager 5 times first. It's pretty brutal. I know. You can see he's looking for that age up. He pulls onto the boar as well now. It's pretty ambitious. Wait, what? Please tell me B did not get the XP. I think he might have. I can't believe he got in range for that. You see just how effective these spears are up against Jeanne. They'll never get this kill because she's just too fast to run away. But it's a denial of, well, not denial of XP there, unfortunately, to the time, but it's a denial of harassment here. And the knights are nowhere nearby. They're too busy running around the base and reacting to the attacks coming in. The horseman revealed on the archer is pretty good here. And presumably there was a knight that attacked as well, considering how low HP he already is. Either that or the shivs were doubly effective. From B. Now just trying to contest that, but the idle time is pretty painful here. Scout also just wasting so much time. I feel like Anatan is outplaying B by just making him look on the wrong places. And yeah, I know that the proximity, the XP is proximity based. I just thought that that would be a bit too far away. I feel like B was on the edge of not getting that. The horseman spam coming in. It looks like Anatan is not going to be going age 3. Instead, after what he just saw, he's willing to compete in age 2. This is risky. Against Jeanne, this is incredibly risky because it means she could farm up a storm if you make even the smallest slip-ups here. I think part of the reason is because Anatan is playing out into the flanks. He can't afford to just rush an age up because his food resources will just be immediately exposed, right? Stables now coming down. Sub entourage. No face cap. You know, I find my big obnoxious head is likely to distract people from the big obnoxious plays of the players when we're in game. Oof, and you see the pain of just losing just one unit, right? 16 XP for that spearman kill. Archer spam isn't looking good for B, though. I think Anatan is pretty cozy here. He's coasting. Age up is about to be triggered. I think we might see him just go Regnants. There are games where Burgrave is warranted, and those games are where you just don't have enough units already. He has enough. There's no reason to be overly defensive here and react with production building. Just go for your gold, and that puts additional pressure on the B to defend all of those extra objectives. So yeah, Regnants now on the way for Anatan. I'm not really seeing the way for B right now. This is looking pretty rough. His food got harassed, it got intercepted. Horsemen are now stopping him from playing like out into the flanks. I mean, he has got pro scouts to kind of keep him busy at home, right? But I feel like I'm seeing a lot of games at the moment where the pacing is so quick that pro scouts almost doesn't feel like it paid off, right? And I feel like this is one of those examples, even with a discount. It's the fact that you weren't able to block Anatan from gathering safely on the D and the boar anyway. So you've, while having map control, decided to take an approach that is usually done by someone friend, right? Like Pro Scouts is, I have some map control, but I can't keep it. What you done here, just ultimately put him behind. And now, although Anatan doesn't have insane value with his horsemen, because you started to play the archers, it already played into this kind of counter blocker, right? And has kept him in his base since. Wait, what? Did he just cancel the reg? Alright, Anno's cooking, man. I don't think he needed this. You can just build an extra racks, right? Get your spin together. I think you would have been fine. Maybe the concern is that he wouldn't have enough map control to get the relics quick enough here. And that would lead to Jeanne gradually trekking level 3, right? And he didn't want that risk. But I feel like this is a situation where you're completely and utterly warranted to be greedy as all hell. Speaking of greedy, B being in this neighborhood was pretty greedy. Cleave's going to come out. Will at least actually take down one of the horsemen. Looks like the army is going to react quick enough. So Anatan, a bit unfortunate there. He didn't wrap around the other side of Jeanne. So we'll be pushed away here. Veterancy hasn't come through for the Spearman yet. Luckily, he's able to shift away quick enough here. And we have got Gilded Crossbowmen now arriving. Remember, if Jeanne comes anywhere near this, she will get deleted. They hit for 34 damage. Dive into the choke point. Nice, not able to break past the spears. And actually, it's good news for B that the scout intercepted Jeanne like that. Had she got any closer, the crossbowman would have reaped her. Archers are now here, but the Gilded Crossbowman count is already getting scary. And I'm starting to have my doubts, my questions about the Burgrave. He's at least now got it active again. It was having gaps there where it wasn't producing. I mean, it does make these spearmen insanely cheap. I guess he was paranoid about mass knights flooding him, so he felt like he needed the additional production and the efficiency of it. The fight now coming in. Jeanne frontlining in the wrong place here. Final shot is going to come out. The bolt to the face takes her down. And will now be able to cull the herd of knights. I think he's just lost this game. Anatan's timed it perfectly. The production on point with the crossbow mass. And now with 5 of these bad boys, there's no bite back. Knights are starting to build up again. Archers as well. Anatan, all he needs to do is just not overextend with his crossbows. Chivalry is at least there, so B can kiss his boo-boos better. But every minute that passes that he's not applying pressure, it feels like he's kissing his chances of winning this game goodbye. Jeanne has been brought back. She must be getting close to the level 3 mark here. Now, one thing that's kind of cool here is the idea of Jeanne's riders, but it feels weird in this matchup due to the fact that your opponent's already built so many spears. But it could be really good for you here because it directly contests the Gilded Crossbows. I don't think Archer's going to be able to do that. Maybe he wants to try and scale that way simply because he needs Archers for spears anyway. But, jeez, you're seeing what I mean about the Gilded Crossbows, right? The ultimate counter. So another spin that's going to be given over. Jeanne could very easily get sniped now, but Anatan is showing a lot of respect. He's going to fully back up. We'll benefit from getting some more of these techs a little bit faster with the mine work. And when that goes down, just about pulls away before losing additional here. So B Chris, a little bit of breathing room here. We are getting very close to level 3. He's had a few kills. Usually you can get it around like the 18, 19 minute mark, right? And he did get one of the balls. That's hand. He's now sneaking around the back here. It's kind of weird, right? You'd think that this is good, archers versus spears, but just look at the ranged armor, right? +2, and then on top of that is spearmen. They have 220 HP. Now with men at arms added in, B's got his work cut out for him. The only awkward and tricky part is you have to be very careful with your positioning, because remember, spears will move quicker than men at arms. So if you don't monitor your formation, the archers are going to immediately A-click into the favorable trade. I would not call that a favorable trade, though, even with the XP involved. You have Golden Cuirass now also on the way. Farm count is only a handful. We've got 6 in total, but remember, he's now secured the flanks. He's got wood getting set up, walls getting set up on the east side. Gathering spread across the map. I mean, usually this is risky up against Jeanne, but with the way that B is hunkering down, there is no threat. Crossbows. Overextended here. Actually, just in time there. He needs to snipe Jeanne. It's too late, though. She's into level 3. And here we go. It's actually champions. Okay, so makes sense against the spears, right? But you don't have a great answer to the crossbows. I guess the logic here is going Jeanne's riders feels weird because you already have knights. Speaking of which, knights are going to dive in. Cleave comes through. Jeanne being brought low. The snipe not quite good enough. Anatan not able to get the kill there. And B may be able to strike back here. Frontline is already dead. Archer's able to pursue this. Jeanne is going to ride back into the action just to try and mop up what's left here. Archer's just sticking on top of the crossbow mass. Anatan not able to get the breakthrough there. And B may now actually have an advantage in more than one way, because I think at home we should be seeing Raxes getting set up, right? Not yet. Remember, you can now produce into the champions. For now, though, Anatan gets a stay of execution. Just enough men-at-arms left to scare B. A lot of XP in his pocket now. A lot of farms coming through from Anno. I wonder, do we see some cavalry mixed in for Anatan? I think one big issue right now is he's kind of just getting kited, right? Men-at-arms and Gilded Crossbows are absurdly slow. Yes, you have the range advantage, but that doesn't count for squat when you're needing to run away the way you did earlier there. Well, the reason why he doesn't have Inspired buff is because he didn't go for Regnants, right? So he actually hasn't added in the Monastery yet. That's the big problem here. We finally do have it now being dropped. So first monk is on the way out. I think, where is he produced it? North side. So yeah, definitely worth getting this. It's not just the extra damage that would have been great to finish off Jeanne there. It's the extra ranged armor up against these archers. It means they are going to tickle. Right? Like, even against Gilded Crossbowmen, at that point, it's like having the scale armor that Gilded Archers can get. What's going up? Maybe a little bit slow from Anatan there. Mistakes made on the timing here as B perfectly times a dive in here. Will snipe one of the villagers. Now he makes his way into the back of the base, and Anatan's army completely out of position here. Okay, this could be perfect. If he splits the knights on both sides here, there won't be any escaping this. Anna has to make a choice. Does he gamble with the corner or does he try to run away? B, he's hunting blind here. He splits up the troopers. He's looking everywhere. He knows the corner is the prime location. Textiles might be there, but it's not going to be good enough, surely. B, did he see that? No way! Anatan, he gets away! I cannot believe that. B, he glimpses for a second elsewhere, and it bites him in the butt. 8 villagers will survive. Unbelievable. The difference that would have made to the game state here cannot be stated enough. B, now we'll just have to shuffle out, disappointed and unhappy with the results, not able to get what he came for here. Meanwhile, Anatan is at least going to be found out on the flank over here, so it might not be the 8, but he'll happily and appreciatingly take the 5. Anatan's gathering comes back to bite him. Army's at least stabbing behind this, but it's just nowhere near quick enough to protect the villagers or punish the assault. B gets the eco hits he needs and gets away. 1-0, we've got a game. What an unbelievable game this is becoming as well. I thought that this was done and dusted. It looked like Anatan had it under control. Had it wrapped up like a present at Christmas, but no. Turns out we're going to need to save the receipt and get a refund on that one. B now making his way up. Royal Institute is on the way. He has a lot of knights, folks. 21 knights. The cantled saddles alone is brutal here. Remember, that's a plus 10 damage on the lance attack. It's bad boy right here. Just so cheap as well. All on the back, though. And it's... no! Oh, that was such a sick idea. Oh, man. Sadly, party is an imp age tech, right? You kind of wish you were the deli there. That would have been incredible. That would have been an insta-win because, guys, a funny thing happens when you convert villagers as Order of the Dragon. Normal villagers become gilded villagers. That would have been an insane way to win game number 1. That actually would have ended up being one of the greatest wall lulls we would have ever seen. Was it 24 villagers, but no bueno. I think the awkward issue there for Anatan is he needed some sort of attack to distract B while he was doing it. Look at this shift to the backside, because that wall lull scouted something out, folks. It scouted out the Royal Institute. It scouted out the Reliance on this corner, and Anatan is now looking to exploit that. Knights are charging in. Veterancy just came in. Jeanne D'Arc is down. She's gone. Crossbows need to clean this up fast. The men-at-arms are buying time here. Remember, they have got the extra health with the Golden Cuirass. Archie's trying to hit that back line, but they aren't vetted up. They're not going to be good enough to carry this. I think Anatan timed this perfectly. He wipes the Cav Battalion. The Archers can't contest this anymore. Jeanne's nowhere to be found. And Anatan looks like he's done it. Game 1 will go to Anachad.